I do not know whose idea it was to find the stupidest person in America and have him talk about science, to get a man whose brain is leaking out of his ears and ask him to talk about health. But that was today's press conference that Donald Trump held, in which he quite literally could not say the words of the drugs that he wants to ban and is saying cause autism. Donald Trump was so out of it, is in such complete cognitive decline that multiple times his handlers had to jump in to save him because he cannot speak and he cannot think. We are going to get into the biggest disaster I have ever seen, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, Donald Trump teased yesterday that he was making a big announcement, and if the big announcement was that his brain doesn't work, yeah, he certainly landed the plane. And it started, before we get to his inability to speak, with this rambling nonsense right here.
I don't see it. I think it's very bad. They're pumping, it looks like they're pumping into a horse. You have a little child, a little fragile child, and you get a vat of 80 different vaccines, I guess, 80 different blends, and they pump it in. So ideally, a woman won't take Tylenol. And on the vaccines, it would be good instead of one visit where they pump the baby, load it up with stuff. You'll do it over a period of 4 times or 5 times. I've been so into this issue for so many years just because I couldn't understand how a thing like this could happen. And you know,
we are talking about horses. Now, let's rewind a little bit. This was the guy who told us to inject bleach into our bodies, and people did it. And then they took horse tranquilizer, and then they stormed the Capitol, and then they voted for him again. There are so many words we can use to describe Donald Trump, and I'm fucking tired of having to hear his voice and talk about those words. Criminal, corrupt, idiotic, embarrassing is the one that comes to mind today. And as we continue to go through what was just a headache of a press conference, if we can even call it that, you will be more and more embarrassed. But the fact that people see our country as represented by this buffoon, this moron. Like, I can't even come up with the words. And Donald Trump, as we'll see in a second, also couldn't come up with the words, which was the whole point of the press conference. But listen to what he had to say, or barely say, about Tylenol right here before he had to be saved.
Commonly known as Tylenol, during pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary. That are so bad and they don't take them anymore. But for some reason, with this, they keep taking it. Don't take Tylenol. There's no downside. Don't take it. You'll be uncomfortable. It won't be as easy, maybe, but don't take it. If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol. And don't give it to the baby after the baby is born.
Tylenol, not good. Donald Trump spent about 10 minutes at what was supposed to be a memorial for Charlie Kirk, who he does not give a shit about, by the way, talking about his big announcement, teeing it up, getting the crowd excited at the funeral, mind you, because he had a big announcement coming. The big announcement, Tylenol, not good. Quite frankly, it's the not good, and that's the opposite of good. What? And I wish that this was the pinnacle of idiocy, but just listen to Trump not being able to read, speak, or think coherently and having to get saved. It was one of 2 examples, but the first one is bad.
Effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of well, let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Is that okay? Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol, during pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He is not talking about string theory. Acetaminophen is the word he is trying to say. You do not need to go to medical school to be able to pronounce a couple of syllables. That is the President of the United States. Are we serious? I like, what the fuck? It's my only reaction, and I know I should be able to present a little better, smarter, in-depth analysis than that. But what the fuck? This guy, we elected him again. I didn't. You didn't. America, are you watching? Are you as crazed as I am right now? It is nonsensical, and worse than just Trump spouting off. When he was unable to collect his thoughts, which are, by the way, on the paper he can't read, he decided, oh, we're going to lean on the expertise of RFK to help us out, talking about the Amish.
Because when you go from 20,000 to 10,000, and then you go to 12, you know there's something artificial. They're taking something. And by the way, I think I can say that there are certain groups of people that don't take vaccines and don't take any pills that have no autism. That have no autism. Does that tell you something? That's currently, is that a correct statement, by the way?
There are some studies that suggest that, with the Amish, for example.
The Amish, yeah, virtually. I heard none. See, Bobby wants to be very careful with what he says, and he should, but I'm not so careful with what I say. But you have certain groups. The Amish, as an example, they have essentially no autism.
So, dear Leader Trump was struggling to find the words to describe what is not an accurate relationship between vaccination and autism. We know this is not true. In fact, the opposite is settled science. That vaccination might be, and probably is, the greatest invention in human history. Which makes sense that, of course, Donald Trump hates it. The man who, what was it, last week said, well, smart people don't like me. They see me and they use their brains, which, what is a brain? And they think, that one is a fucking moron, which he is. And I did too much Trump voice today. I'm sorry. This has just been, I can't even cope with this. How is this the president? But he's spouting off and he's like, well, I have no idea what I'm saying, which I will continue to speak still as the highest authority in the country. But let me bring in my conspiracy-riddled, voice-crackling, hot dog tan Health and Human Services Secretary and get him to spout off about the Amish. Like, that is maybe the cherry on top of what is like, I can't even help myself. This was hilariously stupid. And if this was an SNL sketch, it would be hysterical. But it's the two guys responsible for the loss of children's lives, not only right now because of measles, but for generations to come, with a way that they have muddied the waters, that they have introduced conspiracies into settled science, all while cutting pediatric cancer research. People will not get their children vaccinated because of RFK Jr. and Trump, and kids will lose their lives. And primarily poor kids. That's important to remember. Rich families will always get their kids vaccinated. Even if they're not available, they can just travel. They don't care. Their kids will be protected. And if they need medical care because of complications because they didn't get vaccinated, they'll always have it. Poor kids won't. But the fact that Donald Trump, in the middle of spouting off on shit he doesn't know, leans on the guy who really doesn't know anything to make a quip about the Amish? Is this what America is? Did we not used to win wars, send man to the moon, build the greatest middle class in history? What have we come to as a nation? Like, I have no other way to say this or respond besides a final what the fuck. I don't know. But I guess we should have seen this coming after RFK Jr.'s debacle in the Senate. And because I can't find my words, much like Dear Leader, I want to lean on someone who could and ripped RFK Jr. to shreds with them. That was Elizabeth Warren right here.
Mr. Kennedy, you said, quote, if vaccines are working for somebody, I'm not going to take them away. No exceptions, no ifs, ands, or buts. You would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. Then last week, you announced that the COVID-19 vaccine is no longer approved for healthy people under the age of 65. In announcing the change, you said the vaccine will be available for anyone who wants it. Now, obviously, both things cannot be true at the same moment. So let's clear this up right now, Secretary Kennedy. Will you tell America that all adults and all children over 6 months of age are eligible to get a COVID booster at their local pharmacy today?
Anybody can get the booster.
I'm sorry?
Anybody can get it.
Anyone. So you're saying that is now the official rule of HHS, Anybody is eligible to get a booster by just walking into the pharmacy.
It's not recommended for healthy people.
No. If you don't recommend, then the consequence of that in many states is that you can't walk into a pharmacy and get one. It means insurance companies don't have to cover the $200 or so cost. As Senator Dr. Cassidy said, you are effectively denying people vaccines.
We're not going to recommend a product for which there's no clinical data for that indication. Is that what I should be doing?
What you should be doing is honoring your promise that you made when you were looking to get confirmed in this job.
You're going like this.
And that is, you promised that you would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. You just changed the classification of the COVID vaccine.
I'm not taking them away from people, Senator.
It takes it away if you can't get it from your pharmacist.
Well, most Americans are going to be able to get it from their pharmacy for free. Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy for free.
The question is, everyone who wants it, that was your promise.
I never promised that I was going to recommend products for which there is no indication.
When you said...
And I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Did you hold up a big sign saying that you were lying when you said that? Because you are the one who said you would not take them away. Now, Senator...
I'm not taking them away from anybody.
Secretary...
You want me to indicate a product for which there is no clinical data?
Senator,
is that what you want?
Secretary Kennedy, you said you wouldn't, and now you did.
I'm not taking them away. Everybody can get access to them.
No, they can't walk into a pharmacy the way they could last month and get access.
It depends on the state. It depends on the states.
A year ago,
but they can still get it. Everybody can get it. Everybody can get it, Senator.
So look, let's move on. You clearly are taking away vaccines.
I am still speechless. I can't believe this is where we are, but yeah, we're going to keep calling out the idiots in office. I've got no other way to say it. Jimmy Kimmel is back. That's the positive news that we need. I don't know if he's going to say anything on his show as funny as the idiocy we just watched, because boy was it stupid and dumb. But that's some positive news if you need it, because I sure do. And we're going to keep on fighting, and if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video if you stuck around to the end, and God bless you if you did. Drop a blue heart in the comments and tell me you're praying for me. Jesus. And if you want to support the show in another way, as always, you can subscribe to my Substack, a free or paid subscription, one of the best ways to support the show. Keep on fighting, don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.